Yeah,
Can you
that's
please
great.
give us a small introduction to yourself and how you got into writing?
I'm Lisa. I love writing about billionaire romances.
They are
Probably
so
because
good.
they're not my life. And I've been writing since I was about 15. I was on crutches for a lot. So I was sort of like isolated at school, but I had like pen and paper, so I just started writing like random short stories then, and they've just carried on writing.
And spiraled. What drew you to your current genre or style?
I've always liked the genre, but probably like when the Crossfire series came out, that really sort of pushed, I think, like the billionaire, that decade then,
Yeah.
sort of pushed the billionaire thing, and that's,
I mean, it's massive now, isn't it? It's one
yeah,
of my favourite tropes, or even just a side trope of it being in there is just amazing. And I don't really know how to describe it to people why I love it. It's like, I'm not a gold digger. Yes, I would love a billionaire in my life, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just that sense of being able to look after the person and
yeah,
have no limits to it is just amazing. I think
yeah.
that's why it's such a great trope to have.
Yeah, and it's also, it's like, because it is like, it is true, like, not my life, so I can totally put myself, like, probably how, like, fantasy
Mm,
readers probably feel, where they can totally switch off. It's a completely different world, because I'm never going to be able to, like, just
neither.
jump on a private jet whenever I want.
I mean, I'd love to, but no, that's never gonna happen. Unless something completely drastic happens,
Yeah, yeah.
which, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No.
But yeah, it is such a great trope, and it's great that you can just escape from your life into a completely different thing because it is so different to real life. There's no Christian Grey, is there?
Yeah.
What was the first romance book that you can really remember that kind of brought you into this genre?
Well, when I was like 15, and I really don't know how I managed to get my hands on these books, but um, unless like you were able to buy them easily, but the Mills and Boone
Mm.
books were. I remember. I remember going in like a WH Smith's and being able to buy it. So there mustn't have been like a restriction on it,
No.
at the age or whatever. But they were just handed, yeah, yeah, just so. Yeah, I think Mills and Boone books were like my gateway. That then pushed me into Jackie Collins, and then Jackie Collins then pushed me into
Other
everything else.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah. Would you say you're more plot driven or people driven in your storytelling?
people. Yeah, and found family seems to be, wasn't the plan, but seems to be sort of not my go-to, because that sounds like a cop out and thingy. But it just seems to be where I feel more at ease, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about found family that,
It gives it that lovely, sweet,
yeah,
emotional aspect as well.
yeah,
These books aren't all just smut, they are
yeah,
emotional and they have that really nice character backgrounds in them. So, yeah, I love that trope as well. So, I'm
yeah.
definitely on there with you on that page. Do you ever see any parts of yourself in your characters? Do you bring real life into your writing?
Well, a friend of mine read one of my books recently, and she was like, I've started this fun little game. She said to find the one little plot thing in your book that is you. So now she's made a game out of it. So apparently there is always like one tiny little crumb
Thing.
of me that I put into, and it's not always like the female character either. Sometimes it's like a background character, or
Hmm.
she said there's, it's like a little game now that she plays where she's like trying to find the little,
Little snippet. I feel like there has to though, because you're putting so much time and effort and love and care into these books. Some part of you is bound to make it into them, even
yeah,
if it's just a little crumb.
yeah,
Something's gonna come into those books that not resemble, but reflect you, shall we
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Have you had any real life love stories that have ever inspired you, or anything that's really inspired you to write a book, be it a small thing or
Not really.
no?
No, no, not really.
I mean, it's hard because real life love stories, you don't, yes, you see people in love, but you don't really hear of these really like wow love story moments. And I think that's why I read romance books because
Yeah,
you have to dream that you're going to get that one day. And
yeah,
I'm still in that delulu world that I
yeah.
will find that.
Yeah, and like I mean, like we were like brought up with like the totally unrealistic things that Disney set us of these guys. So it's no thingy that as romance readers now we think the way we think, and
Yeah. I
we
mean,
love the characters that we love,
yeah.
even though we maybe shouldn't sometimes.
Yeah. Some
Like
of
if we're
them
in real
are
life, I
probably.
really like want this mafia dom to, who's like cutting off people's fingers and stuff. But in
Red
the books,
flag
we're
or
like
shopping list?
exactly,
Yeah, I can safely say my standards are way too high now.
yeah,
And that's the cruel fate of being a romance reader.
yeah.
What's your ideal writing environment? Do you like chaos or calm? Do you tend to go to a coffee shop or a night owl writer, would you say?
I'm a bit of both. As long as I have got my laptop and I have access to a mug of tea, then I am usually happy writing anywhere, be it in a coffee shop or on my couch or in my home office. Yeah, I'm one of those people who can actually pretty much write
Right,
wherever.
whatever.
Yeah,
Do you ever find that background noise affects you, or can you just tune it out usually?
become way better at just tuning out than I used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever like to listen to music whilst you write?
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I have like a playlist usually for like each of my books. That it's not like say sometimes it's just vibes, like vibes of the book, or it's like songs inspired certain scenes. It's not necessarily like a soundtrack of the
Yeah.
book type of thing.
Do you ever find that you're writing one scene, like it might be a heartfelt scene, and there's heartfelt music or something playing, and then suddenly some really ridiculous sound comes on, and you're like, okay, rewind, change the music.
I've not had that, but I was recently like I run a local writers group thing, and recent we do it on a Saturday morning, and we was in our coffee shop where we all sort of sit down and write together, and I had no thinking that the book I was writing was gonna get emotional. I thought, right, I'm safe here. I'm just like happily writing away, and then the characters took a huge swerve, and I was like, oh. And I ended up like crying for like 5 minutes while I was typing. And my friend was like, I was like, it's my character. He's like, I thought you'd hurt yourself. I was like, no, it's just my book. So yeah,
I mean, if you don't cry and feel the emotional aspect of your book whilst writing it, then who will?
yeah,
Whilst it might be quite difficult to just suddenly burst out in tears,
yeah,
it really does prove that these characters are something
yeah,
great and something the readers will connect to.
yeah.
What part of the writing process do you love? Is there any parts of it that you really don't really like, or do you quite like it all?
I like it all. When I first started writing, editing was hated it with a passion, but now I really kind of like it, and I found that not that I'm editing less, but my first draft these days is a stronger first draft than it was 5 years ago. So maybe that editing isn't as But I think that's probably the same with anybody who, once you start using that muscle more and more,
Yeah.
it gets stronger. So things do become easier.
And do you find
Social
yourself?
media is like, yeah, if somebody could just like do all that for me, I'd be like,
Yeah, I do social media and I've just started a new job and this past week I've just been so, my brain's just been so focused on the job. I haven't worked for a month because I was on a ski season and then the job didn't start until last week. And I think coming from for a month of being on social media every day, posting multiple times a day because I had the time and I
yeah,
was doing interviews, and then starting the job, all my energy is just zapped.
yeah,
So I've had no motivation to even post, and it then makes you think, oh goodness, it's the pressure of it. I love
yeah,
it. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
But there's so much pressure being on social media and feeling like you have to post constantly. And yeah, I'm on that road right now. So hoping I've got a day off on Thursday. I still don't know my rota for next week, even though I kind of need it because
Yeah.
I've got all these interviews and I'm having to message authors terribly last minute, which I
Yeah.
feel so bad about. But this job is so hospitality, you don't know when you're going to work. And I'm just hoping I've got a day off on Thursday and Friday where I can focus on editing all these interviews and maybe have some inspiration to
Yeah.
post. Because, yeah, social media is so hard,
Yeah.
even if you thoroughly enjoy it. And as a writer, it's probably the last thing you want to be doing. Definitely.
It's like it's what is it like? It's like a necessity, but like yeah,
It can be so fun sometimes, but then
yeah. Oh yeah, I
sometimes
love it sometimes, and I love
it
like going on Canva, and I think I'm the Canva queen sometimes, and I'll go on and I'll be like, I can
who
find
is she?
hours of thinking of just designing stuff, but then it's actually like posting and
Mm.
finding the thingers of like, oh, yeah, this will work, and
The algorithm.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
posting every day, doing reels, and then nothing's original these days. And it's so hard
Yeah,
thinking
and I
like,
really burnt myself out last year doing the whole like a TikTok a day, and I was just like,
yeah,
after about 4 months, I was just like, right, I've not got anything else in the tank. I was like, I've been posting every day for 4 months, and now I can't think of anything new that I can post.
sometimes I find if I do a bit of doom scrolling, as I call it, 'cause it takes hours of your time, you're just like, okay, 2 hours just passed. And I find inspiration and like a viral sound and people are doing it, and then you try and make it your own by putting different books up. I find if I save a bunch of those and do them all in one, so I might spend an hour doing them all, and then I just post them. And I think that's the problem I'm in right now because I did that. I had like 20 or so in my drafts. Then I've posted them all, and now I'm at that block where I can't find any more. So yeah, having the inspiration to even post and then having to do it every day is.
Yeah,
I don't know how people do it for their full-time job because I can't. I'm not. I like to think of myself as creative, but I'm not that creative for the social media aspects of keeping people's attention going.
yeah,
I try my best because I do enjoy it and I love reviewing books and getting in contact with authors, but
yeah.
yeah, it's not the easiest one, is it?
No.
Can you please give us a brief overview of your books and tropes and list of where you think readers should start with your books?
Yeah, so my first series wasn't planned on being a series. It was going to be a standalone, and then the group of friends really sort of got under my skin and then became my Billionaire Boss series. So that starts with Our Best Friend's Wedding and then moves into Their Missing Pieces and Hidden Secrets. And then Hidden Secrets kicks off my second series, which is my club series, which I'm writing now, where so it's a sex club and there's a club basically in different cities. So the first book is in New York, then the second book is back in LA, which is where Hidden Secrets is started. Then the third book is in London, and then the book I'm writing now is set in Paris. So yeah.
Some exciting different cities all brought into it. So,
Yeah.
can you give us some tropes maybe, or what readers can expect? Just a little something to get them.
Yeah, so the Billionaire Boss series, I would say the main tropes are billionaire, found family. Second book, the first book is Second Chance. Their Missing Pieces is MMF, and Friends to Lovers. And Hidden Secrets is age gap, boss employee, mentor, mentee type.
Said MMF, and I'm like, yes. I don't know. It's just something about the. I think maybe the taboo-ness of it, or the kind of forbiddenness, but it just adds something extra to the book, which is quite nice.
Yeah,
And plus, seeing two guys get all like soft and cuddly for each other is just so
yeah,
sweet. I don't know. It just hits different, doesn't it?
yeah.
Can you give any teasers for your current working process, the
Paris.
Paris one?
Yeah, it is a lot darker than the other books in the series. The series has been slowly ramping up because there is like so each book is a standalone in terms of the romance of the couple, but there is a storyline that's going through that is very like very Epstein type of
Yeah.
thing, and that world has become quite dark, and which has made this book, the Paris book, definitely the darkest, because the female in it is a victim of that storyline, but she's going to help bring it all crashing down. So, yeah.
We love it when we can see the victim be the cause of the downfall.
Yeah,
It
she's
really
going to go
shows the
like,
embodiment of them and having their power come back to them in such an awful situation,
yeah,
because sadly in real life that doesn't get to happen. So being able to read that and have them have their happy ending and be the cause for their downfall is just amazing.
yeah,
And it's great that we can read in it when sadly in real life that doesn't happen.
yeah,
So no, that sounds really exciting to read. So are they interconnecting standalones? So you need to follow them because it is one story that's carrying on,
yeah,
even if it's a different couple each time.
yeah, yeah,
See, that's a series that I really love. I don't tend to go for series. I do love them sometimes, and when I get into it, they are great. They're just sometimes I've read some that aren't the best, and it's where it's the same couple throughout multiple books, and I find that the author, they have to be really good at keeping your attention going and keeping the story fresh and exciting. But when it's a series that is either interconnected standalones that are completely different, I do enjoy that, but I really love it when it's a series of interconnecting standalones that carry a story throughout. So whilst it's one story that you're telling, one big plot, you have new exciting bits because you have new
yeah,
couples in at each book. So yeah, that
yeah.
sounds amazing to me. Will that be out in October then at the Armories?
I'm not sure
No,
because I'm currently like working on that at the moment.
in the midst of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the last book, the London book, took me longer to write than I'd planned. Basically, I wrote a whole book, hated every word of it, kept 10,000 words and rewrote the whole thing. So
Really?
it was I basically wrote two books. So I am not putting any pressure on
No.
myself this time. And I'm just going to be like, it's going to be ready when it's ready.
And the readers would love to have a really good book and
Yeah,
for you not to pressure yourself. I
yeah,
mean, I imagine that's the hardest part about being an author. Whilst your first book, your attention is probably on this is an achievement to myself. I am writing a book. This is a great path, and if it gets published, that's amazing. I achieved something. And then after that first book, I imagine it's the pressure of keeping up with it and keeping the standards and getting better. So yeah, definitely don't pressure yourself.
yeah,
And when it comes out, they'll all be happy and waiting to read it with excitement. So
yeah,
that's all that matters in the end is that
yeah,
the book gets written and we'll be really excited to read it
yeah,
because it does sound amazing.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm sure the people at the Armories will be excited to hear about
yeah.
it. Do you have any like posters or stickers or something advertising the book at the event? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I've got all stuff like that. Yeah. I do have a Christmas book that's coming out by the Armories, which is a billionaire, undercover billionaire it's called. And it's just a nice Christmas novella, undercover boss type of
Yeah.
thing. I got the inspiration from doom scrolling on TikTok. I got on undercover boss TikTok for some reason. I was like, oh, you know what? This could be a good storyline. And then I ran away with it. And, yeah.
I mean, don't you love that though? Because you see these clips on TikTok and they have the comment section saying, please, somebody write this, and you yourself can now write it.
Yeah.
I mean, that must feel amazing that you can be like, right, this is a great
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah.
I can take it my own way.
Yeah. And I don't feel so bad doom scrolling on TikTok then
No,
because it gave me an idea for a book.
exactly. And this is can have you for hours, and I think Instagram's the part for me where I'll be on that thing for hours. On Facebook as well, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
where I should be reading my book or doing content or something. No, I'm just scrolling for hours.
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies that you do, sorry, outside of writing, or is it pretty much writing
No,
and
it's pretty
reading?
much all writing related stuff, yeah.
Do you like reading a lot? Are you an avid reader?
I love reading and wish that I could read more,
Yeah.
but unfortunately these characters sometimes are yap. So
Yeah.
I need
Need
to
to be
write.
written. Do you find yourself preferring reading or writing?
If I'm in a reading slump, I find myself in a writing slump. So I like to keep a good balance of reading while I'm writing, but I will not read the genre that I'm writing at that
Yeah.
time.
How do you overcome creative blocks? Do you have a certain method, or has it just been struggling your way through?
No, after the last book that took me like nearly a year and a half to write, and I tried everything to push through. I think once I relaxed and once I took the stress off myself
And a step back.
and took a step back, it started to flow again. So I've learned that sometimes if I'm not writing, it's okay not to be writing, and I can be doing other things. And
Yeah.
because those writing days will come again where I won't want to do anything else but write. So I may as well like conserve my energy for the
Yeah.
days when I do need that. But yeah, that last book was a real sort of learning curve for me in terms of, right, I know that I can push through to a point, but I also know when I've learned when to step back,
Yeah.
when to breathe, when to just let the
A
characters
moment.
just exist, and they might not be ready for talking. So they might want a bit of a break. So yeah.
And then when they come at you, you're
Yeah, they
there
won't
you're
come
ready.
at me and they won't stop talking.
Do you ever find books help you take a step back? Do you ever just get into a bit more reading when you're in that creative block, or do you just go into something entirely different?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love a good, like, especially when I'm on holiday. I love a good, like, I can spend hours just reading on holiday, and I love it to bits. So yeah, and I've definitely found that I'm more like that with like fantasy books.
Yeah.
Probably because it's a genre I will never write. As much as I love reading the genre, but I know I will never write in that genre. So it gives me that switch off as well of like
Yeah.
I can just enjoy the book as a book and not as like oh, I'm reading a book that I could potentially be peers with the author, and do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Will this be the first time attending the Armories, or have you been before?
no, last year was my first year, yeah, and I loved the signing. It is such the vibes there are just so nice, and I actually went the year before as a reader, but I don't know. There's something about the Armories that it's just so fun, and people are just so nice, and it definitely as a signing last year. It was like my favourite signing of last year, and it was just so much fun. And just like I said, like the vibes of the whole event is just,
Everyone has the same
yeah,
energy and so
yeah,
excited to be there. Whilst we might all pretty much be introverts, we're always so excited to be there.
yeah,
I mean, I'll probably be, this is the first time we're going, I'm really excited to be there. I'll be running around doing interviews and doing quick sneak peeks of the event. Yeah, I'm so excited to go and meet all the authors and see everyone. But yeah, I'll probably be nervous babbling around.
and I mean, as authors, are just we have the same feelings that you as readers do because we are you.
Yeah,
So don't think it of being like nervous and stuff because us as authors, we're exactly the same. So everybody is like in the same boat, and so yeah, it'll.
I think it's just really nice to be there and talk to everyone. I mean, I think it's going to be a great event. I'm so excited to go.
Yeah,
And hope to go for more years to come. But
yeah,
yeah, it's my first time volunteering as well and doing interviews, so that's been really exciting to do. And to just do that side of things. So it'd be
yeah,
nice to get the kind of behind the scenes of the event.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm very excited and to see you in person.
yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me
Oh, no
today.
worries.
It's been a lot of fun getting to know you, and then I'll be there on the event and I'll be coming to your table.
Oh,
But hopefully
excellent.
I get to see everyone because I'll be like rushing around
Yeah,
to try and see everyone on the 2 days. It's going to be so much fun.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.